I'm the 5 piece, the 5-0. That's over there. But then we're talking what, like a foot?
Yeah.
The other guy, right over here.
So they were in that position though.
Same,
They
yeah,
didn't
same
move.
spot, you know, maybe even like here, but we're still within the same area, you know.
Yes. So would you mind explaining what happened the other night? What was it? Tuesday, what was it? The 5th or 6th of October?
Yeah. Basically, what, as far as I remember, we were hanging out. Me doing my typical thing, you know, just hanging out, doing my stuff, you know. I mean, like I said, you know, I mean, I might get drunk, but I'm not fucking stowing bodies in my trunk, you know what I'm talking about? So, we're hanging out on my porch there, on my deck, you know, 2nd floor. I'm hanging out with this guy, you know. So, basically, this girl comes out talking about, have you seen my cat? And, you know, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I've seen your cat a bunch of times, you know, a little black cat. I see that thing running around all up and down there. Okay, well, it's white too, though. You know,
It's got white spots.
Yeah, it was something like
Black
that.
cat with white spots
Right.
on it.
So, I'm like, well, I haven't seen that cat, but, whatever. So she goes, we split right back into the pad. And me and this fool happened to see a fucking cat come around looking just like the cat that she described. So, you know, I'm kind of leaning over. I'm like, hey, you down there still? You down there? Okay, well, you just seen her cat go by. Do you want to finish the rest of the story?
Yeah, so basically we come inside. We're hanging outside here actually watching Wife Swap on TV.
His choice.
You know what? I'm guilty of enjoying Wife Swap. Okay, it was a thing I picked up in Florida, so sue me. I had a lot of good times watching Wife Swap. So yeah, it was a good program. So we sit around, we're hanging out here, we're getting ready to anticipate going out on the back porch in a little bit. And all of a sudden there was a knock on the door.
It wasn't even like a knock, it was like, you know that knock.
And it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking maybe it's someone that he knows stopping by.
No, I knew it wasn't because nobody I know stops by and knocks like that. I knew it was the cops straight off the rip, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, in any event, knock on the door. They're like, what'd they say exactly?
I opened the door and...
well, you peeped out first, didn't you?
Yeah, I peeped it out first, but yeah, after I peeped out the flavor, I opened the door and, you know, they're like, can we come in? And I was, you know, I know what the deal is with you, I know what the deal is with me, you know, so I'm like, sure, come on in, you know, make it easy, you know. And basically, you know, he's like, all right, cool, you know, thank you, you know, and they, like, kind of had a sense of humor about it, like, a little bit, you know, I mean, they were kind of like, you know, not really shaking us down like that, you know,
but at the same time, that was police business.
It was, I think it's about time for you to finish the story.
Okay, so basically a very special guest come in the door. Hey, it's the Highland Police, 2 of them, 2 officers of the law. So they look at me, and I'm still sitting in this chair over here, not in this couch over here, the chair over there. I'll get a shot of it in a bit. Insert shot here, but basically they're looking at me and they're like, are you the shooter? Now, as of recent, we've had this moron go on the shooting rampage in Northwest Indiana.
It's a ridiculous piece of shit.
And it's causing everyone to get kind of hysterical and ultra paranoid about it. So this suspect's still at large and whatnot, and it was just something, quite frankly, I heard about just hours ago that night. Like a buddy was telling me, oh hey, you hear about the shooter? No, I didn't hear about the shooter. So even coming here, Josh was telling me a little bit about it, so...
I heard a little something. But what I want to say too, though, is like, you know, I almost want to, like, even, like, you know, like the fucking Dark Knight, you know, like when the Joker's talking about, you know, like, oh, I find a bunch of gangbangers going to get killed. I mean, let's not, like, cut on the bush here. I mean, we live by Hammond and by Gary.
Yeah.
People probably get shot every fucking night, you know what I mean? Like, it just so happens this shooter is all of a sudden big news because he started in the border Illinois and Indiana, and, you know. I think it's I just think it's bullshit. I mean, like everyone's on spook, you know what I mean? But like, why would you be on spook every other night? I mean, we got Gary right here. I mean, you know, we got. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Well,
you know?
basically, they
It's
came
a lot
in.
of
They came
violent
in.
shit.
They came in. The police came in questioning me as if I was the shooter.
Right.
And it was one of those things. Are you serious? Like, is this really happening? And I actually did ask this, like, is this real? Is this not a joke?
Yeah.
And they were asking me just various things about the physical characteristics of the suspect, who no one actually has an exact identity or correct attributes to. But they were like, do you have a truck? Yes, I have a truck. You're wearing a hat. Yes, I'm wearing a hat. And they're like, oh, you have a beard. And it's like, yes, I have sensitive skin. I hate shaving because I get, ingrown hairs and stuff like that. So I'm defending all these things. They're like, are you 50 years old? It's like, I'm going to be 30 in 6 months. I'm about 20 years shy of that.
I was looking, he's 40.
I wouldn't go that far. But, but yeah, I'm not 50 years old. I wasn't the shooter. And they're asking me like, hey, do you have a John Deere plate on my vehicle? Not to sound, disrespectful, but I mean, why are you asking me that? You could have just went to the vehicle and checked it out. And maybe asked me to see if I was a liar, but no, I'd never have a John Deere or anything in my vehicle.
And you know what, and that's actually what we were talking about. I mean, like, it's almost one of those things like, yeah, you're going to come up to my apartment complex. Okay, here's a suspicious truck. Maybe it's the same color, maybe it's not. Maybe it has a John Deere.
Yeah, because the suspect.
Maybe it doesn't. Let's check it out first, and then make our own assumptions.
Well, basically, the suspect.
And come to conclusions before we go knocking on a fucking door.
Just to talk about things in ultra realism, how they are and how cartoony they are. So there's a suspect anywhere between 30, 50 years, anywhere between 230 pounds to 290 pounds, anywhere between 5'8" to 6 foot. So everyone and their brothers who vaguely fits that description is a suspect. And it's just a tad ridiculous because what wound up happening was the same woman that was outside asking about the cat was the woman who ratted me out. And I just don't appreciate that because you're judging me because I'm hanging out with a buddy. Do you think that the shooter would come someplace and like have a casual time like I was having?
Not to mention the fact too, she even like straight up told the fuzz, the kid with the spiky hair, he lives there. The other one is the shady one, like.
Yeah, like I'm shady.
This kid's suspect.
I'm not suspect. And to find out that the suspect didn't even have a beard, it's just beard persecution. I'm not happy about it. I had to defend my right to have a beard. Well, but I will say though, the cops did find humor in a lot of things that
they were definitely cool about it.
Yeah, they were very cool about it. One of the officers looked like a young version of his father, maybe Greg Reed from circa 77.
Yeah, I disagree with that, but here go the hook though. Me and my girl went shopping at Ultra last night, the night after that, and guess what? How fresh is this? We walk in, the kid holding down Ultra, the cop, I'm sorry, kid, not whatever. Same cop that came into my apartment, So I kind of gave him one of these, like, hey, what's that?
Hey, you look like my dad, what's up?
And he was like, hey. I was like, hey, long time no see, But no, I mean, you know what? And, like, to me, the bottom line is basically my buddy Marcus. He's a Hammond cop. I was hanging out with him tonight. Tonight's my girl's birthday, so he was out. I mean, they were getting calls non-stop for the past 2 days,
Yeah,
so it's one of those things where I really don't fault the chick downstairs, I mean, I feel bad because, we're pretty pissed off about it, like you're going to come into my place.
No, but I do understand, though, in that capacity.
Right,
at the same time, that was ludicrous. Because I compare it actually to almost like the communist days where it's like, that person's a communist. It's all hearsay, it's all speculation,
exactly.
And it just creates a hysteria and madness for, if you're not that up there anyways, which a lot of people around here really aren't,
right.
You're going to jump to conclusions, and unfortunately we're having a lot of people, we've got a community of people here jumping to conclusions, unfairly.
You got me blacklisted at Hop Sings. I mean, that's how it goes, you know. I mean, she was scared, you know, whatever.
She has a right to be scared. That's fine.
She has a right to be scared, but you know what? All I gotta say, and I can put the thumbs up on this side if you want. Fuck that chick's cat.
Yeah, that's what I will say in closing, though. You know, if you want to suspect me of being this shooter, which I'm not the shooter. But if you want to, you know, try and convict me in your own personal judgment that I am, how about not asking me to help look for your cat? How about that? Because I mean, I did have some slight concern over that cat for those few moments.
And I think that was all bullshit. I think that was just so she can get like a good look at the mugs, you know what I mean?
But yeah, even that mentality, it's like, what, someone's on the deck on top of us, so I've got to see if they are the suspect? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.